We have ThorZaIN. We have July. We have an ST versus a Mouse, a Terran versus a Zerg on Shakira's Plateau. I am Squiggles, and thank you for joining me for another cast. Oh my goodness, I am so excited to see these two players because I did not actually see these games when I was watching DreamHack, so I cannot wait to see how these guys play. And both of these guys are superty duperty good. Yes, superty duperty is actually a common phrase somewhere. So just believe me on that. Yeah. But Shakira's Plateau is quite a good map because it's very big, and these spawn locations are going to promote. Let's see. It looks like they're a little bit closer by air than they are by ground, but not a lot. Just a little bit. And this is going to promote quite a lot of macro play. This map in general does. So, and it looks like ThorZaIN not even going to be walling off at his ramp here with his first supply depot. A lot of people like to put that supply depot there and then a barracks, although it looks like he could be putting barracks down there. And oh, looks like indeed he will be. Okay, that's cool. Bam! One barracks going down. Nice placement there. I think he can put another barracks here or here, actually, and wall off that area respectively. So we could be seeing some kind of two-gate opening. It looks like we may indeed, unless this guy's scouting, but it looks like he has about the money he needs and two gates going down for ThorZaIN. And if we look over here from July, I do not see any kind of spawning pool going down yet. And it looks like July is actually saving up for a hatchery. So it's going to be 2 racks. Did I say gate? I meant racks. 2 racks versus 15 hatch, it looks like. So I don't know, man. 2 racks is pretty good against hatchery first, especially if ThorZaIN is able to scout in the correct direction and find out exactly where July is. Now, July not going to let him have any kind of, oh, looks like the SCV is going to scout that Overlord, so now ThorZaIN knows. And you can see his SCV is going to be going in the appropriate direction, and this is what he wants to see. He wants to see if July has indeed gone for any kind of fast hatchery action. You can see that the spawning pool just now going down, and it's about 33% of the way done. But look at this. Both barracks are up, and there is a Marine already out and on the way, and this this SCV is going to be like, ThorZaIN, July fast expanded. I know he did because I know the timing on this, and he fast expanded, and so July is going to counter by patrolling a drone, and it looks like ThorZaIN, he was going to put a bunker right here, but this drone is going to have none of it, but now there's a Marine out, and that Marine is going to force this drone to play a little bit more passive. And is the bunker going to go down here? I'm not sure. It looks like he did. Boom, there goes the bunker. And this Marine putting on all kinds of sick pressure on this hatchery. But there is 8 Zerglings on the way, as well as 2 Queens right now. Drones being transferred. Not even pulling any drones right now because he is not really worried about it. A couple of Marines here now, and ThorZaIN does have to be careful of those Marines. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and pull back because when these Zerglings hatch, he has to be careful that he does not lose the Marines because that would just be absolutely terrible. Bunker is going to finish, it looks like, and if he's able to get a good position here, maybe an additional bunker, then the support that this bunker is going to be able to do is going to be absolutely crazy. There is a spine crawler going down right away, and look at this by July. Going to put his Zerglings here because he wants to intercept any kind of reinforcements, and it looks like ThorZaIN is wise to that, so he's going to go ahead and run his Marines back. He is like, yeah, you guys just go ahead and take a break, early lunch, and these guys will be holding down like absolute ballers while we try to see what kind of damage we can do to July. But July, not really overreacting, is building a lot of Zerglings. So at this point, ThorZaIN doesn't even really need to attack because he was able to scare July, force him to get this spine crawler, which is now burrowing. So that's going to be a great spot now because unless ThorZaIN wants to waste a scan, which I don't think he will at this point in the game, he's going to have to move back. Oh, that SCV. That was a lot of bleeding for one little poke. And it looks like he is going to salvage that bunker. And now these Marines have to be careful because there are Zerglings coming in for what looked like it could be a surround. But it looks like ThorZaIN bringing in the rest of the Marine buddies. And as soon as these other Marines show up, then, oh no, Zerglings have to run away, losing a couple Lings. Not that big of a deal. And they are going to be retreating. And now it's going to be a little ring around the plateau over here. As, Zergling's getting taken down. Oh, that sucks. Oh, no. And that may actually make July need to make some more Zerglings because he lost a lot there. Now, the Spine Crawler has repositioned for the umpteenth time at this point, and it looks like he will be totally safe. Yep, 10 more Zerglings on the way, and he just had to go ahead and do that. And look at this. This is like very StarCraft 1-esque, using 3 barracks. Going to be walling off, and that's not StarCraft 1-esque, using 3 barracks, but using the barracks to wall off instead of any kind of supply depots. That's very StarCraft 1-esque. And having to raise barracks and lower barracks because the supply depots in StarCraft 1 couldn't actually raise and lower. So ThorZaIN going to be doing that good stuff, but really, really good. They're going to be a lot more Baneling proof. And getting a tech lab right now, he does have his expansion down as well. Take a look at the Army tabs. We can see worker supplies, July is ahead by about 8 workers, but Army supplies, ThorZaIN is ahead. So, I mean, it's really, I don't know if anybody really got a good advantage out of that. It was quite good openings by both players, but July did a great job of holding it off, and because he was able to get his expansion down so fast, I'm going to give the economic advantage to July, especially because of this, the way, again, the way the larva work, you can see he's just getting like 7 drones at a time. So he is droning up heavy right now, and he has his speedlings done. They are chilling right here, and he's just going to be poking with one speedling back and forth and seeing exactly what ThorZaIN is doing. You can see that STEM is going down almost as soon as that tech lab is done, as well as 2 factories coming down and Infernal Pre-Igniters. So we're going to be seeing some Blue Flame Hellion, maybe a Marine Blue Flame Hellion push. That would be kind of cool. Or we could just see some Blue Flame Hellion harass. I'm not sure which it's going to be. Looks like Baneling Nest going down for July, as well as an Evolution Chamber. And interesting locations on these. He's really just using these as a wall to, I mean, you don't see Zerg usually wall off of the buildings, but I think it's not a bad idea, actually. So going to be getting these 2 buildings. And it looks like could be going for a pretty, actually that's not a fast expand, about 9 minutes, 9:30 by the time it gets down. If he goes here, it looks like he's not going to go here. He might go here then. He might go here. I have no idea what July is doing. Could just be setting up. But maybe he's going to be stopping for a second because ThorZaIN is on the way out, and he has not revealed Blue Flame yet. Lots of Zerglings on the way. Banelings on the way as well. Spire about 50% of the way done, and it looks like the Infernal Pre-Igniter as well as STEM going to finish up about the same time. There is also, oh my goodness, a starport and an armory going down, and it looks like, oh, ThorZaIN's so good. Going to be going ahead and scouting with these, not even going to try to attack the front. Looks like another Spinecrawler went down for July. Did get some Banelings as well as a lot of Speedlings, so he's going to be absolutely fine at the front. But, oh, ThorZaIN has discovered the Hatchery of July, and if he's able to cancel this, that's going to be huge. Marines coming around, and those are going to be the ones that are actually going to do the damage. But it looks like he's going to be trapped because there are Speedlings and Banelings. And it looks like July going to be leading with the Banelings. Great choice here. The cancel did go down on that expansion. Now it's going to be up to... Oh, ThorZaIN totally getting caught off guard there. And it looks like... Oh, wow, losing all of his forces for almost nothing. July taking a huge supply lead now, about 25 supply. So a little bit of a whoopsie on the micro by ThorZaIN. I think he thought that July was just going to sack it without kind of defending, and July just went with a really late defense. And ThorZaIN taking an absolute pounding because of that. Looks like he is going to be expanding to the more normal third now. July is. And ThorZaIN is going to be, what is he doing? He's getting +1 infantry weapons. He's getting +1 vehicle weapons. Siege mode almost done. Getting combat shields as well. Thor even. And that's a great choice because there is some mutas out. As we follow these mutas around, what kind of damage are they going to be able to do? Looks like there is a couple of turrets down, but only where the mineral lines are. So that means that these mutas at the rest of the base are going to be really annoying. Ooh, sniping off one SCV there, and it looks like just getting some good scouting in, harassing where he can, killing off a couple of SCVs, and it looks like July doing a good job of macroing as well, keeping his about 20 supply lead right now, and just going to be using these mutas. Doesn't really want to lose them, and July Zerg is probably the scariest person to have mutas, because although you cannot micro them quite as well as you can in StarCraft 1, as far as stacking strictly on top of each other and just like juking back and forth incredibly. July was the one who invented that, by the way. So if anybody can control mutas, it is July. And you can see here the loop-de-loop route. I'm just, oh, but there's a Thor. You can see the loop-de-loop route that July was taking, and it's really good to just kind of, he went around here, he poked in here, then he poked around here, went around the base here, looped back around all the way out here, and then back, and it looks like he's going to be harassing again. And this is what you want to do with mutas. You don't want to overcommit with them. You just want to poke. See, look at this. Only doing, what is this, like 115 damage to a supply depot with that poke. But it just forces ThorZaIN to split up his forces a little bit, keep guys all over the place. And look at this. We have burrow done, baneling landmines all over the place right outside. And it looks like ThorZaIN is going to be putting a little bit of a wall off here as he goes ahead and moves out with Thor's siege tanks and Marines. Now these Marines have stim, they have combat shields, but what they don't have are metal detectors because they're, or I should say, baneling detectors. Oh no, he's going to move right over him. Baneling bombs going on everywhere, taking out a lot of Marines. Oh goodness, and there's the scan, but it's not even in the right spot. And there is one baneling who is left, and it looks like July is going to be saving him for another day as the siege tank actually sieges on top of the baneling. But you know what? The baneling doesn't do that much damage to siege tanks, so it's probably a good call not to use him right now. And here comes Medivacs, Marines, Thors, and siege tanks, and it's going to be up to July to hold this, but he does have roaches, and he does have banelings and speedlings, as well as some mutas, so we're going to have to see exactly how he is able to handle this. Now, there are not that many Marines anymore. There were about twice this many, but the banelings did a great job, those landmines, of just clearing them out. You can see other great play from July, keeping that baneling there, so he's going to have good vision, as well as a Zergling here, so he's going to be able to see if ThorZaIN tries to expand off of that. Now we can see ThorZaIN is building a command center in the production tab as he moves forward, as he slowly leapfrogs these tanks. And this is the thing is with Terran, you have to be so careful with your tanks, because if they get caught on siege, that's like the game. So you can see these mutas, they are more mobile, and they can abuse these little plateaus on the plateau. So they're going to be, that actually looks like a plateau, kind of more like a claw, maybe, I don't know. But they can, regardless, use that terrain a little bit more effectively. So he's going to be using those to scout. You can see they're going to be poking in here as well, just seeing, oh, there's a Marine, and forcing a stim out of a lot of Marines, getting one muta, though, and now the mutas might be trying to go ahead. It looks like they are going to go back and poke, and they are going to notice that ThorZaIN is expanding, so great job there. Not able to snipe off that SCV, and the turret does finish. That's kind of huge. But it looks like July is just being so calm and just waiting. He has a ton of banelings right now, as well as a lot of roaches and a lot of speedlings. My goodness, he has just a huge army. He is actually maxed right now, and he's waiting on probably +2 to finish. I don't know. It looks like, oh, maybe not. Never mind. And here he comes. Here comes the big attack from July. Great spread on these siege tanks and Marines. Marines are going to be running back because there are a ton of banelings, and that means that the Marines are going to be pretty much worthless this fight as the banelings come in doing a lot of damage, actually suiciding themselves on the Thor, but it might not matter because July just has so much supply, and it looks like great Marine micro as well, but it's not even going to matter. So many roaches, and it looks like the Marines are going to be running back to the safety of the planetary and a couple of siege tanks here, but maybe not, getting a little bit over aggressive. Marines streaming down here, as well as another siege tank, and the roaches are forced to pull back because they have almost no health at all. But look at the supplies. It is 124 for ThorZaIN and 166 for July. Let's take a look at the army supplies. You can see that July ahead by about 15 workers, as well as ahead by in supply. So, and by supply I mean army supply. Excuse me. I just choked on my own saliva. But, oh, look at that, also expanding during that whole thing. He actually expanded a while ago. I just was paying more attention to the battle as more Marines come in. And this is a great job by July, able to attack these Marines when they are not being supported by the siege tanks. And as soon as he's in range of the siege tanks, you see he's going to go ahead and leave and go someplace else. Ton more banelings coming out. Oh my goodness, look, how many banelings is that? That is a lot of banelings, almost 2 full supply groups of banelings. Couple shots going off by these siege tanks, doing a lot of damage to the roaches. But look at this, banelings coming in everywhere, and oh no, these Marines, they're running as far as they can. Lots of banelings going down, but every time the Marines stop getting picked off, and my goodness, a lot of Marines being taken down here, and now roaches going to come in here to clean up. Lots more roaches coming in now, but look at these roaches, they're doing a ton of damage, and it looks like July is going to have to fall back yet again. 172 supply for July, and 120 for ThorZaIN, and July doing a great job of keeping ThorZaIN on 3 bases, while he is on 4th. Oh, look at this, July going to be doing a little burrow micro, and you can see exactly how fast these roaches regen health. Like I said, it is like they have their own personal medevac. Every single roach has their own personal medevac. So, yep, pretty good. That burrow, pretty good. And it looks like, oh, siege tanks doing lots of damage here as the roaches and banelings looks like they're just going to bypass the 3rd entirely and run up into the natural, just almost one-shotting that siege tank, 2-shotting him, I guess, and going to be running up just totally ignoring everything going to be going up and trying to kill off these siege tanks as well. Siege tanks doing a lot of damage and actually killing a lot of banelings. And it looks like the banelings might all be dead now. Nope, looks like 3 banelings are left, and these Marines are going to be doing a nice little stutter set micro here to go ahead and pick off these banelings. Nice job by ThorZaIN there. And so ThorZaIN may actually clean up these roaches right here, but the problem is he has roaches in his main base now, and a ton of SCVs actually not mining now. He's going to be like, oh, they should probably use those guys. Thank you, July, for attacking, because now I realize that they are not being utilized. Oh my goodness, so many banelings being made. 30 banelings right now. Oh, geez, that's crazy. And it looks like, oh no, roaches burrowing over here. And oh, he does have enough for a scan, but I don't actually know. Looks like he may not know that they're actually there. I don't know. So ThorZaIN going to go for some kind of drop play, it looks like. Great job putting down, where is it? Where is it? I can see the there it is hiding behind that sensor tower. Great job. So ThorZaIN actually sees all of these units right here. So he's going to be a little bit cautious. And, ooh, looks like the roach is going to unburrow now, and they might actually snipe the armory. Boom! Down goes the armory. So that means no more Thors coming out for ThorZaIN for the foreseeable future. And meanwhile, doing a nice little job of rallying forces. So he's going to be attacking in the back while he attacks at the front at the same time. Siege tank shots doing a ton of damage to these Zerglings. My goodness. And it looks like these siege tanks, oh, positioned on the high ground. Such beautiful positioning here. And that bunker didn't even have anybody inside of it. But, oh, here comes Banelings and taking out that planetary fortress. Kaboom. My goodness. And, yeah, all of these SCVs are running for their life, and they can't run far. They're just using the minerals as a little bit of a shield, which may not help, actually, too much with the Banelings. Looks like ThorZaIN going to be lifting off his main command center, his main orbital, and flying it over here to his third. As he attempts to stay in this game, you can see that his natural is almost mined out, main totally mined out. So ThorZaIN is almost on no economy right now. Meanwhile, July taking a 5th while all that's going on. But oh, look at this great little drop by ThorZaIN, and it looks like he did quite a bit of damage there. But July was able to react, and ThorZaIN, look at this, not even losing any Marines, and that's quite a big deal. But now July just going to be dedicating this little security force to making sure that these guys don't do anything. And oh no, here is the bane to these medevacs. The mutas are out, and so ThorZaIN going to be trying to drop as many Marines as he can, but the mutas are going to absolutely pick off everything. Oh, man, that was so good. But look at the supplies, 137 versus 159. So ThorZaIN has actually closed the gap here and trying to take a 4th right now. There is a Zergling there, so July is going to be able to see exactly what's going on. And oh my goodness, a little bit of miss micro with these mutas. Going to be losing a few for free. Well, for free minus the cost of the stem. And look at this Zergling. He's actually, I thought he was dancing for a little bit, and he's just going to be tee-hee-hee-hee-heeing. And he could actually burrow that to make him force a scan, but it looks like he will not, and there it goes down. Lots of mutas coming in, and there are Marines in pursuit. My goodness, these Marines really want some muta blood, managing to kill a couple. Planetary going down, and muta's going to be swinging back around now and seeing what other damage they can do anywhere else. Now look at this, doubling up on the sensor towers. He really wants to know what kind of damage is going on and where the units of July are going to be marching in at. And look at that, almost sniping off one siege tank, not able to quite do it. And it looks like, nope, still no Thors coming out. So these mutas by July doing a good job of scouting and doing any little harass that they possibly can. You can see July is on 5 bases. Now it looks like his natural is totally mined out. So he's really just getting, nope, not even getting gas from his main. So he is really getting gas from, it looks like, 4 bases and getting minerals from 3 of them. So July is on 3 mining bases. It looks like ThorZaIN is on 2 at this point, since his natural, yeah, so he's on 2. And July, look at this. Oh, a ton of mutas. Going back to mutas because he knows that he killed that armory. So ThorZaIN cannot actually build the Thors, which do so much damage to these mutas. And you can see here, tons of mutas coming in here. They're going to try to take out they do take it out even through the mass repairs, and so now these mutas are free to just kind of do their damage. And look at this, only a few Marines here. They're stemming and doing what damage they can, but there are so many mutas. The mutas are able to just stand there, take it, and oh, good job by ThorZaIN having a lot of missile turrets around. So these mutas are going to have to run away, taking some damage, and more missile turrets going down for ThorZaIN now as he has to account for this bigger threat of the mutalisks. Meanwhile, we have a lot of drops going on. Yay for dropping! And it looks like ThorZaIN may have to finish dropping all these guys because there's mutas. Please, ThorZaIN, drop guys. Oh, no. Only 2 Marines. The lucky 2 managed to get out of there. They were shoving their way out of the door, and still, only 2 were able to get out. So terrible for those Marines whose lives were lost. And it looks like ThorZaIN going to go ahead and take a 5th now, throwing up a ton of missile turrets and getting a planetary. So, great job by him. And you can see ThorZaIN actually ahead by about 15 supply at this point. Mutas are going to come in, and it looks like going to take down 1 missile turret right away. Here comes the mass repair, and it looks like they may not actually be able to get this one. They are not going to be able to get it. They're going to have to run away. My goodness, great reaction speed by ThorZaIN there, and dropping some Marines as well. That is going to help tons and tons of mules being dropped everywhere. The most OP unit that Terran has, the mule. And here comes a lot of mutas, though. And, oh, shoot, I was going to say there isn't any actually Marines, but there are some now. So these tanks, and that is a ton of tanks. My goodness, for ThorZaIN. So many tanks. But we have a hive coming down as well as infestors for ThorZaIN. So he's going to be transitioning into infestors. Great little transition there. They're going to be really good against the Marines with their fungal growth as well as neural parasite. If he decides to get that, can absolutely destroy these siege tanks as well. Now, you can see just the kind of damage that those siege tanks were able to do, absolutely murdering that small force of July. And ThorZaIN is now maxed versus July. ThorZaIN is up by about 30 supply now. This is crazy because July was up by so much, and I thought for sure July had this, but now ThorZaIN has a definite chance of winning this game. It's going to be up to July to stop him now at this point. ThorZaIN with just such a huge amount of tanks, and here comes, it looks like there is a greater spire down as well as a lot of mutas trying to do as much damage as they possibly can. Great repairs going down, and this command center looks like it may actually be canceled as Zerglings stream in, and it looks they're not actually not actually attacking the SCV, so the SCV may actually get this done. I don't know. A lot of damage being done by these units. Now it looks like these mutas getting some extra shots on them that they don't really want to have taken. But ThorZaIN very slowly moving up through the map with, does have a couple of Thors out now as well, and getting a whole bunch of, there's some fungals going off for just a couple of Marines there. But so many siege tanks, and now ThorZaIN really needs to get some more Marines or some more Thors or something to really help these siege tanks survive. It looks like July with quite a few infestors, looks like 6. Good amount of speedlings, good amount of banelings as well, and a good amount of slow overlords without drop capacity. They're just spitting on the ground and trying to make it as slick as possible, so maybe the Marines, when they run out and scout, will slip and fall, and oh, that would be so gross, slipping and falling and creep. Now it looks like ThorZaIN going to be taking out the base of July over here, so doing a good job of making July be on fewer bases, and going to be taking out some of these overlords, so July going to be supply blocked, at least for a little bit. Boom, supply blocking him yet again. Now, the supplies are about the same, and here's going to be the problem. So many infestors look like, broodlords. So many broodlords coming down, and the broodlords are going to be absolutely perfect against the siege tanks, because not only can siege tanks not attack them, but the splash of the siege tanks is going to kill all of the Marines. As you can see, all those Marines are dead now, and the siege tanks are going to have to unsiege and run away. These broodlords are exactly what July needed to stay in this game, and you can see now that Mobius Reactor is going down for Ghost, getting Ghost 3 at a time as he feverishly attempts to get the right units to counter this, and he needs to get a ton of snipes off in order to do this. But look at this sick unit composition with broodlords, roaches, banelings, speedlings, even infestors thrown in the mix. There's just everything coming out for the Zerg player, and I'm really leading with broodlings as the way to go. And Thors, although they can shoot air, not the best choice against broodlords. Thors are good more against the light units that are stacked a lot, more like, the mutas, not so much against broodlords, and broodlords are the siege breaker, and so now, I don't know, ThorZaIN's in a little bit of a pickle as he needs to manually focus these siege tanks on the Zerg units as opposed to killing his own Marines, which is just what happened again. Now it looks like Thors are going to be going down quite quickly, 3 Thors going down almost instantly, and July now absolutely rolling through ThorZaIN's army. I don't know if ThorZaIN has what it takes. He does have a couple of ghosts out now and actually losing a couple ghosts. Snipes going down on the roaches, but it's not going to matter. There's GG. So July taking the first game in epic fashion. Oh my goodness, that was so back and forth. And I mean, I thought July had it for sure in like the mid game, and then the late game came, and ThorZaIN made like an amazing recovery, and I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe ThorZaIN is actually going to win. And then July tech switched into Broodlords, and the Broodlords managed to save the day. ThorZaIN was not able to get out enough ghosts fast enough, and July was able to roll through the tank-heavy unit composition of ThorZaIN. So absolutely epic match, and look forward to match 2, guys. I will see you guys later.